Let's get granular. What's up, dogs? It's Cameron with Venus Theory, and to continue the UVI Falcon series, today we're here to take a look at creating kind of big cinematic-y, drone-y, atmosphere-y pad types of things using a bunch of different layers and just different stuff to combine to make something very, very cool, and in only a few minutes. So let's dive in and get started. Alright guys, so in today's video we're back with UVI Falcon, and today I'm going to be walking you through how to create a really nice atmospheric drone-y sound bed or pad or whatever you would like to call it. So you can make these tonal or atonal depending on what you're going for, but in today's example I'm just going to be walking you through making kind of a big swelling dark thing. So this is all going to be using free samples from Music Radar's sample radar page. If you have not checked that out, you need to go there right now because there is so much good stuff totally free. So we've got our multi. This is a brand new multi and it's totally empty. So first things first, we're going to go over to our list view and we're going to start giving ourselves a couple layers after we load our initial sample. So first things first, I'm going to use the outdoor samples pack. Let's look through camping and find something. Okay, that seems like a good one. So I'm going to drag this in. There we go. And we'll name this Foley. And first things first, we're going to double click note tracking here, set this to 0. That way, no matter what key I play, it's the same pitch. However, velocity will affect it. You can disable this if you would like by adjusting the amplitude, or sorry, rather the velocity amount of the amplitude envelope. That's what I was thinking of there. So yeah, you can change this by just disabling the velocity amount. So it'll always be at 100%, but in this case we do want it to be dynamic, so we'll just go ahead and leave that where it is. So we've got our first layer. Now we're going to add another layer. We'll call this tonal. We'll add another layer. We'll name this effects, and maybe one more called texture or something. So we're going to be building this sound up slowly, just kind of one element at a time, and picking sounds that kind of work together. So we've got our Foley layer. Just nice and, you know, kind of crunchy and sparkly. So we can go ahead and just click and drag, and we're going to set create loop. So I'm just right clicking, and then we're going to select forward. We can set our loop start and end points. If I just open this up a bit more, we can go ahead and do that and move the loop start. So now this will just loop over and over, which is what we want. So now we're going to go ahead and find our tonal element. For this, one of my favorite packs is the D&B Atmospheres from Music Radar. So I'm going to go ahead and just find one that I like. That seems pretty epic. But you'll note that it doesn't have a pitch. I'm assuming since this is drum and bass, it's going to be an F. But I will show you really quickly a cool way to find the pitch of a sample if you're not sure, especially for droning elements. So what you can do is load up a tuner of some kind, and then before that we're going to load an EQ. So if you've ever played guitar, a common trick you may know is that you can use the tone knob on a guitar to roll off all the high end. So a tuner is going to look more towards the fundamentals. So by clearing out all that extra information, it's a lot easier for the tuner to understand what's happening. So I'm going to go ahead and get a 24 decibel per octave high pass and low pass, and we're just gonna kind of swell this up to roughly where the fundamentals are, and we'll watch here. So we can see that this is an F, so we'll just assume that that's F. So perfect. We can go and delete this. So we'll open up Falcon again, and we'll drag our pad right here, and we're gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna click and drag, create loop, forward, and then we'll drag our endpoint over here, just this guy, and loop start point back over here. Sweet. So now this will just loop over and over. So now we're going to find an effects. I would say we could probably go to the Techno Atmosphere pack. That seems like a good one. So on this one, again, we're going to set note tracking to 0%, and we can go ahead and adjust the gain to be slightly lower. Cool. So we're going to go ahead and set up our loop as always. So forward, and we'll drag the end point over. All right, and start point, and now this should sound pretty nice. So now we're starting to get somewhere. So texture-wise, we can maybe do the noise, hiss, and crackle pack. So I think I'm just going to look for like some tape noise maybe. Just something that's kind of subtle to tie it all together. And once again, note tracking to 0%. Set your loop. So we'll do forward, alrighty. And we're going to drag this guy back and drag this guy forward. Drag this guy forward. Falcon can sometimes be a little bit weird with that. Not sure why the interface seems to randomly rescale, but regardless. Okay, so now we've got all of this. So now we can kind of blend these together by using the gain knob on the oscillator tab. So I'm just going to go ahead and play a chord. So that seems like a decent blend. So now what we can go ahead and do is set up a couple different things. So our amplitude envelope here, we can go ahead and select all key groups. So we're going to select all, and we're going to increase the attack and release. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and highlight all of these actually. So select all, and then we're just going to make sure that all of them have an attack and release. Cool. Maybe increase that attack time slightly. So back in our tonal layer here, let's go ahead and adjust this to be, let's say F3. So this was in the key of F. So now as I play something, it will be at the right pitch. Sweet. So in the effects tab, we can go ahead and start loading up some nice effects. The dual delay is one of my favorite effects in Falcon. I'm going to do the low pass 8 dot. We could grab some modulation. So let's do an analog flanger perhaps. Something nice and slow. About like that. We can get a big old reverb, Spark Verb, one of the coolest reverbs ever made. So we'll do Lost Piano, perhaps. It might be a little heavy on the low end, but we can always EQ that later. And then just for the sake of it, maybe we could add a diode clipper right before that. Just a little bit of hair to it. Something about like so. So now we've got a nice long pad, and we could just add some macros to control this further if we wanted. We could maybe adjust the fine tune of things and, you know, adjust our pitches and whatnot. But, you know, not all that important. The real important part is your tonal element here. So one last tweak I want to make here is I'm going to right click on sample here within the tonal layer. And I'm going to set this to either granular or multi-granular. But in this case, we'll do granular. Give it a nice big size and density. We could probably just leave it where it is. We'll set the loop to be forward, and we can maybe slow the speed ever so slightly. And now we should get a nice big atmospheric pad made from free samples. Or we could make it a bit more tonal and usable. And, you know, just hold one big note, perhaps. Nice low F drone. And you can go back and adjust all these settings to taste, but this is a great way to create really epic pads that, you know, really don't take a whole lot of time and do end up sounding very unique. And, you know, from here, just some extra EQ maybe, add some different effects, and so on and so forth. And that's it for this video, guys. So thank you for watching, and I hope you learned something. As always, be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys again soon.